What does it mean to be Zimbabwean? To be Zimbabwean is to carry the mark of leadership. And leadership begins when you embrace your purpose and take responsibility. These times we're living in are evidence that each one of us was born in this generation for a great purpose. A purpose to shape Zimbabwe's future, a responsibility to carry the promise and live in the Zimbabwe we want. Zimbabwe is waiting for a generation of people who understand.
Welcome back to an overcast Queen Sports Club here in Bulawayo as we get ready for the start of the second session of play in this second test between the West Indies and Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe having completed one session 56 for 3. They won the toss this morning and elected to bat first. They were actually 14 for 3. The first to go was Solomon Mire.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Solomon feet not going anywhere, playing away from his body. It has been a busy morning but this was a really good ball from Shannon Gabriel through the gate for Craig Evan. You could debate the technical faults there, but that was indeed a good ball. And Brendan Taylor not really sure whether to play it or to leave it, caught in two minds. Again, a good ball from Kima Roach. Brendan Taylor in disgust. It has been a busy morning and a windy morning for the guys out there. West Indies have done exceptionally well. Roach picking up a couple of wickets and Gabriel just the wickets. PJ Moore still out there on 15 and has had a steady start so far, and he's got a lot on him to come. Hamilton Masakadza, he's had a good look. You could say he's well set in, but he's still got a lot to come. And Roach will start us off the proceedings after lunch, coming from the city end. He's had a steady start, picking up the 2 wickets.
The hard work has been done by Hamilton Masakadza. He's gotten a start again. A little bit of fortune with a no ball early from Shannon Gabriel. Oh, that could be above waist high. It will be a no ball. Yes, it is above waist high.
Pretty abysmal start. Yeah, it has to be above the waist high as well. Not an ideal start. Apologies from him. Not intentional. And if he bowls another one, I do understand. If he bowls another one above the waist high, that's it for him in this particular innings. And then we'll have to see him again in the second innings.
It's quite unusual to see such an error from Roach, who's bowled with exemplary control. The best of the West Indian bowlers so far today. Only a slip and a gully. Whenever the ball has been banged in short at Peter Moore, he hasn't looked as comfortable. I wouldn't mind seeing the odd short ball attempted at him to back up those good length deliveries.
Yeah, have a look at that cross seam, just trying to whack him up. Unfortunately, goes in the air in the vacant area. He's also well known for not comfortable playing the short deliveries. Yes, he's got protection out there on the deep square, as you said. After that shot, I reckon there's going to be a lot more of those deliveries.
It's been very cold around for the last couple of days here in Bulawayo. Ball is seamed a little bit, swung a little bit this morning. West Indies shouldn't find it too strange. They've recently completed a tour to England where they played a day-night test where they played deep into the back end of the summer in cool conditions. A bit of in-swing from Roach. What Masakadza has done well is that he's left the ball beautifully. He's left just outside the off stump quite beautifully. His judgment mostly has been good. His teammates who fell maybe not so good, playing at deliveries on a similar line and getting themselves dismissed. And that's one of the many things that Masakadza for me has done well, shown patience and good judgment.
You're absolutely right, Bish. As an opening batsman, you have to show some resilience. The concentration level have got to be precise. The feet movement have got to be precise when you're starting off an innings. You talk about giving yourself a bit of a chance as you walk into bat, and Hamilton has done exactly that. But obviously, the key thing is to kick on from what's happened prior to this. Yes, you may see yourself as fortunate. Again, that's the concentration we're talking about, leaving the balls outside off stump, and he's been very good at it. And I was going to say, he may feel that he got out of a short delivery, and yes, it was a no ball. It can also play a part in your mind and in your concentration level, but that's done, that's gone. Now we've come back, second session, and he has to kick on from here.
Just a reminder to our viewers who may have joined us belatedly that Graham Creamer said after the last match he wanted Masakadza to kick on.
No.
Don't just give them the starts. 61 for 3. Zim's captain in the background. The West Indies had a decent session. They showed great discipline. I thought that there are a couple of areas that they could have done better and will look to improve on in this session. One, I felt that Bishu could have bowled a few more overs. If the ball is seaming, then as we've often heard, there's a chance it'll spin as well. Just bowled the 1 over, so I thought maybe 2 or 3 at least could have gone his way in that first session. 2 men had slipped. Spin, you see. And I understand with the seaming conditions, Holder had a feel for allowing a make-up seamer to bowl, but I think you've got to weigh up a make-up seamer in Blackwood with the ball doing a bit, or your genuine spinner with 9 wickets to his name after the first test match on a pitch that is offering turn as well. Who should I go for? I would have gone for this. Injudicious shot, slightly across the line from Moore. Lucky.
Certainly that confirms what you're talking about, Bish. That we would have loved to see him coming on early before lunch. Just looking at that suggests that he would have come on a lot earlier. PJ Moore looking to dominate, but again on this abrasive surface he's going to assist spinners. Not a very good shot. Again, it's a fine line, being smart and being positive. And we talk about kicking on, trying to reverse the pressure. If you have a look at the 2 balls before, again, very well bowled. He knows he's going to get a lot of assistance from the wicket. And for PJ Moore, he just needs to knuckle down a little bit and wait. If the pitch is assisting him this much, you will get bad balls.
63 for 3.
The turn that we're talking about, well played. He's played the line of the ball, which is pretty good. We talked about this technique in the first game, playing in front of the pad, which is really good to see. It cuts out the LB option, the DRS. With an understanding that this test match is so important for Zimbabwe. They need to make sure that they find themselves in an awkward situation. Yes, they're 3 down, but they need to make sure that they put up a good show. Not only a good show for them. Shot straight and drifting it on leg. You pick up a couple. And those 2 runs brings up the 50 partnership. They've been good, this 2 of one balls. And PJ Moore, he knows he's got a lot on him. It's his first game after some time. Shot again from Hamilton, but pick up a single.
More back in the team because Williams pulled out this morning, feeling unwell. Jarvis also suffering the ill effects of an ankle, so he was left out as well. The other thing, and I alluded to 2 things the West Indies will hope to do better. Not so much Roach. I thought Roach was brilliant. Only 20% of his deliveries were left alone. But Gabriel and Holder allowed the batsmen over 50% of their deliveries were left alone. You don't mind seeing that occasionally, but that's too high a percentage. So you can say good discipline, which I've said, but they'd have, and Roach, yeah, just 27%. He's been excellent. Now, the others haven't been bad, but I just thought they could have created a little bit more pressure if you're looking for perfection. Roach has been tremendous since his return to Test match cricket in England. West Indies needed a leader of the pack, another senior statesman to support Gabriel, who, though he might be 29, he's young in Test cricket terms. .66 for 3. It's been a good partnership, 52, between Masakadza and Peter Joseph Moore. Yeah, keep it going. something that I mentioned on the very first day of the first test match, Vusi, and I think you asked me, you were in the box and you heard it, and your antennas went up, and you questioned me, what do you mean? When I said I think 12 of Zimbabwe's squad are either 30 years or older. And I alluded to be a very important time in Zimbabwean cricket because of that. Why did I say that? What do I mean? Runs, first sweep of the day. Just two. Blackwood's the quickest on the field. Well, I think they've gotten less years ahead of them. The majority of this team, I think 9 of them in this 11 are 30 and over. 9 of 11. They've got less years ahead of them than behind them. Now, that makes them street smart in terms of years, not test match experience. And that's why it's so important that soon they start hitting that upward curve and performing well. Because in a few years' time, they'll start to be replaced. So it's such an important 34-year-old Masakadza. Who are the young guys pushing them? They are the scorers in Zimbabwe cricket, but it's a critical time.
Absolutely, Bush. And I concur with every point that you've alluded. I really do concur. In my opinion, I do believe also in these crucial times, and also during this transition time for Zimbabwe cricket, it makes it a lot easier to see that graph going and to see that improvement by playing a lot more cricket for the players themselves. And that experience in itself will come by playing more games. It's all well and good to say, yes, this is the time that the players need to show the experience, the age does say a lot, but you don't get it from that experience from the shop or from sitting around. You need to be playing more games, and that's first class and that's international level as well. You heard Heath Streak talk about more games at an elite level for the guys to start believing in themselves. They need more of that. And the harsh reality is it's going to happen soon. There is not much time. End of the over. 70 for 3. But trying to stabilize the middle period. And it's a key moment for PJ Moore. He's been given a chance here, having Sean Williams for sick. It is of importance that these two batters out there, they kick on, sitting on 70 for 3. But this man, he has been at the top of his game from ball 1. He hasn't given not a lot of deliveries to put away. He keeps asking those questions.
Could even think, I know it's a slow pitch, there is some movement. You could even think about a short leg here, to Peter Moore. Even just applying some mental pressure by someone else in his eye line, close.
Good delivery again. Because he's also got one that leaves the right-handers away from them. If you have a look closely, he's got a guy catching on short cover, should I say square cover. And I would like to think that's for that fuller length that he's been bowling all morning, and ball leaving the right-handers. He picked up a wicket of Solomon Mira with the one that leaves him. and perhaps that slipper will come into play as well. Looking to bowl a lot fuller. He hasn't bowled a lot of deliveries for the batters to leave. And what helps him as well is the one that tells back in a lot more for the right-hander. So you're always in doubt, and you're never sure which one is coming next with him. So he's been really good so far.
That slip that you talked about is very wide, so there has to be an understanding with Dorich, the keeper, that if it's nicked, he's got to go. I know it's a slow pitch. I don't mind seeing that, actually. Don't mind seeing the attempted short ball at all. 2 bounces to the keeper, but send the message.
Talk about the slip being very wide to the wicket, from the wicket keeper. In my opinion, I would not like to see the first slip that wide. It's either he's on first slip or he's not there at all. Because you find that with Kimaroj, he's not really swinging it away a long way or swinging back in. If he's going to go, if the batsman is going to go hard at him, asking questions, sliding down a touch. In the event that on this abrasive surface, I would like to think there are more chances of the ball going finer than it is going wider, with the ball tailing back into the right-handers when Kimaroj is bowling. If he's hooping it away, that is a clear indication of how the ball is tailing back in. Not a great deal, yes. But if he gets his line right, just slightly outside off them, and finds that nick, more often than not, is going to go finer. So I would like to see that first slip in place instead of pushing him wider.
See an inside edge coming. 70 for 3. Can feel an inside edge onto pad or thigh pad and bubbling up to short leg.
He has been really, really good. It's always that doubt. Which one do I go for? And again, you talk about your feet being precise. He needs to be more decisive. And play the ball late as well, ball tailing back into you. Yeah, the partnership, these are the partnerships thus far for Zimbabwe. Apart from this one, in particular, 56. The top 3 guys are gone with just the single figures.
Oh, lovely shoe, lovely shoe. Loving this fish, loving this fish. Good channel, shoe, good channel. You working, big shoe. Yes.
More runs for Masakatsa, a couple of them. Devendra Bishu was called 3 nicknames in the space of 2 balls. There was Keep Going Bish, there was Keep Going Shoe, and there was Keep Going Big Shoe. 4. They said, come on, leggy. So he's been called 4 sobriquets in the space of 2 balls.
Oh, lovely bash.
Very well bowled. Which one is he then? You put all of them in one. That edge should be able to pick up a couple here. I think the leggy might do, because for that particular delivery, him spinning it a long way, leg spin a long way away from the right-handers. Very good delivery that was. Hamilton, just having a look at that, it reminds me of how he got out last game.
Big shoe, big shoe.
Sort of similar delivery. Not quick, but it went a long way, and Hamilton went after it outside off stump. Perhaps he could have left it. End of over, 74 for 3.
got to be tough in these conditions. It's no excuse to say it's too cold or you can't catch it slip. Look, we've played enough cricket, a lot of us in the UK, New Zealand, to know that you can get through this. A little bit of a drizzle here at Queen Sports Club. We've mentioned it being overcast. Ask yourself, do you prefer it to be too hot and draining, or can you brave the cold? I always say when it's too cold, you can put clothes on to get warm. When it's too hot, what can you do? Can't take it all off. I understand your point about the slip, and I'm conflicted myself.
How often do you get to see balls going past wicketkeeper and what, third-ish, second and a half slip?
Let's be fair though. There was about a one that steepled at PJ Moore in the very first over that flew in the air through a vacant third slip position. That I think has influenced this move.
I agree. But on this abrasive surface, how often do you get the balls to have a steep bounce? I would like to think, well, it's easier said than be sitting up here, but it's not really good coming off quick off the surface.
Should be a couple. As I said, I'm conflicted. Conflicted because there have been no slip catches in the first test and up to now. None. First, second, third or fourth for the seamers.
Absolutely, and Darvish has taken all of them catches that went behind stumps. Again, it's a fine line. As a captain, I feel for them because you have to go by your gut feeling.
He needs to put in a better spell, Jason Holder. He wasn't at his best in his first spell. He was too wide above stumps, sometimes too short.
And surely these conditions would actually suit him, or the seam bowlers rather. Well played, well bowled too. I say the conditions should or would actually suit the seam bowlers even more. You can almost feel like you can run in all day. You don't tire quickly to start with, and the overcast conditions will give you the motivation to try and even swing the ball, make use of the conditions. Yes, you may be playing on a surface that's not really for your type of bowling, but surely you want to give yourself a longer spell and look to dominate a lot more, giving the batters not a lot of chances to score, but you want your lines and lengths to be a lot more tighter. And you talk about him, there was a lot of balls wide outside off stump, getting the batsman in. You would have loved to see him ball tighter lengths, getting the batters to play a lot more, try and use the conditions.
.76 for 3. Raza Walla Chakava to come, and they showed in the first test Zimbabwe that they were prone to collapses. They'll be hoping not to allow that here. A little discussion is about the ball. He's got the ball to spin already, Devindra Bishu.
Shoot.
9 wickets in the first test match. Important test for a few players as well. Shane Dorich has not had runs with the bat. Kyle Hope continues to try to cement a place in the team. They would have heard the news coming through that Sunil Ambris, one of their young and up-and-coming players, scored 100 against Sri Lanka A over the last couple of days. He 100 out of 180 odd. From all reports, it was like he was batting on a different pitch from all the others. Really has had a good season, Ambris.
Express yourself, bitch. Express yourself, bud. None. No. Come, bitch. Get rid of bud.
It is a cold day indeed, so you got to keep yourself moving.
None, Craig.
Good shot. What's more interesting here with PJ Moore is he's well known for taking on the spinners. And you can see with the shots that he's playing, he's looking to score a lot more facing Bishu. And he thrives on dominating more whenever he gets to face spinners. But this will be a very good test for him to see how well he can actually adapt, or rather wait. There's not too many bad balls so far from Bishu, and it's a waiting game. Very well bowled. End of the over, 77 for 3.
.77 for 3. Zimbabwe. Good repair work being done by Hamilton Masakadza, their most experienced batsman, and PJ Moore, who's relatively new in terms of Test cricket. Just his 5th Test match, this one. And the West Indies captain, Jason Holder, running in from the city end. There's been a fair amount of movement off the seam today. And as I mentioned earlier before lunch, I'd like to see Jason Holder just pitch that ball up a little bit more. Give himself an opportunity to wrap the batsman on the pads, or get it to swing away and maybe get the outside edge. Alan, good to have you.
Well, it's nice to be in the warm confines of the box, because even the 5-yard walk from one box to another, it really is chilly out there. Shot. Good shot. Is beaten the 2 fielders out there, and that is a wonderful half-century from Hamilton Masakadza. He has held Zimbabwe together here with great tenacity and resolve.
It's been another good innings by Hamilton Masakadza. Took his time. He's played that shot particularly well today as well. But what I'd like to see from Hamilton is make sure that he starts again and gets to a ton, and a big ton. We've seen that the Zimbabwean batsmen have it within them.
Bowled will give us a little insight here, Tino, because He's got the ton on his bat and he'd love to get one from it, but he's got a half century, his 8th test half century. 5 fours in here. He's averaging just a fraction under 30. As a batsman now, do you almost start the slate clean again? Do you start, right, okay, that's 150, let's go on. Let's almost compartmentalize. Is that the thinking of a top order bat, such as yourself?
Fair bit of movement off the seam again from Jason Holder. And in answer to your question, yes, you've got to make sure that you start again. How often do you see a batsman get to the half century, get to a century, and very quickly lose their wicket soon after that? And they've had a good start. They did this in the second innings where they batted in periods and batted well, but they need to make sure they've got one person who has a big long knock and the rest of the guys bat around him. And Hamilton Masakadza in a perfect situation today to be able to do that. This was him, scored freely all round the wicket and disdainfully put those deliveries away through the offside. It's of utmost importance that, as you say, Wilco, he starts again. That's how he scored his runs. And you can see he scored heavily through that cover area, 48% of his runs there.
34 overs gone, 81 for 3. $14 for 3 early in the day. The toss won by Graham Creamer and opting to bat first on a bitterly cold day here in Bulawayo. Mire 4, Irvin 0, Taylor 1, 14 for 3. So Hamilton Masakadza with his 8th half century in Test cricket, and Peter Moore is looking well composed and pretty unflappable out there, actually. He's played a very good role here with Masakadza. They were in deep trouble at 14 for 3. Carl Hope in that short extra position won't be comfortable feeling when the ball hits those hands. Look at those fingers all taped up there. Pretty tough on the hands. Where did you like to field? Tino, where do you like to field?
Second slip.
Sure about that?
Absolutely.
And what if there isn't a second slip?
First slip.
Might I just say congratulations. 100 catches in first-class cricket. 100 catches, Tina Maweo. First slip, second slip, third slip. Too short from Bishu, and that really has been dealt with for a very well-hit 6. That'll leave a sting in the tail. 88 for 3.
Shorter delivery from Devendra Bishu. He had a few in the over before that as well. So Hamilton Masakadza gladly punishing that over the long on area.
Bishu just guilty of dropping it marginally short here. But what a hit by Mazakadze. Strong in the arms, strong in the shoulders. Still got to be put away, and that's a long boundary over there.
It is. Possibly another 6, maybe 8 meters added to that boundary as they've moved 2 pitches to the right here at Queen Sports Club. But yeah, he's got to make sure that he puts it away. That bad delivery. 66.2 meters, that boundary.
Still a problem with the ball. Out come the scissors. Umpires carry a little miniature pair of scissors just to give the ball a little bit of a trim if it's misbehaving. Well, a couple of days between the test matches here in this series, and it was a great opportunity for players and the crew to go and see one of the great sights of the world, one of the 7 wonders of the world, the Victoria Falls. In low season, they're not in full cry, as you might say, but enough to see there the Devil's Cataract right there. And, oh my goodness. I'm told that in high season, when it's high water, the volume of water and the spray is so much that you can't actually see the rock formation. But here at this season of low water, you can see it. It's just the most magnificent sight. Victoria Falls.
Yeah, you seem to have a couple of good days off.
Pioneering, exploring, cultural visit, expedition, and a little bit of work. Shot.
You seem to certainly be relaxing. When I saw you a couple of afternoons ago, nice accommodation that you had at the Victoria Falls Safari Lodge.
Well, actually there is a lodge, but I was in the club rooms, and this was just wonderful. This is the watering hole which the Vic Falls Safari Club looks out onto. We saw there's a crocodile in there. There's a crocodile in there. He is. There he is. Every morning saw him, and they didn't get too close. Good looking shot this. Blackwood, will he pick it up? Yes, he's amazing. I think he's in the wrong sport. I honestly think he could run the 3rd leg of a 4x100 relay, this guy.
He's extremely quick. But, PJ Moore, what I've liked about him is when he's been given the opportunity to score, he's jumped onto it. On another day, this would have been 4 runs. We've spoken about how the outfield is slightly thicker and slow in this game compared to the first test, but he's looked to score. It's been pretty solid in defense, and he's looking good. Solid. They've put on 76 together now, these two, and we saw this in the second innings. Again, Allen of the first test. But, they build partnerships, and soon after the partnership, they lose one, and they lose another one very quickly. I think in the second innings at one stage, they lost 4 wickets for 41 runs. Got to make sure that if they lose a wicket, which they hopefully don't, they make sure that they do some repair work, grind it away, and get another partnership going.
End of the over, 90 for 3. 5 bowlers used by Jason Holder. He brought on Jermaine Blackwood as the first change seamer. Then he brought on himself, and Bishu was the 5th bowler. We haven't seen Roston Chase yet, the off spinner, and we haven't seen Craig Brathwaite. Plenty of options for the fielding side.
Yeah, Craig Brathwaite did a very decent job in the second innings of that first test. He's the one who broke the opening stand of 99, got the important wicket of Hamilton Masakadze, who was looking good. And really, that's where the innings changed for Zimbabwe. You'll expect him to play a more important role as the pitch begins to wear. So later on in the test match, possibly the second innings.
Two is the call from Masakadze, and they'll get 2 easily here.
He's just dropped a couple short in his last couple of overs, Devendra Bishu.
Well, this has been picked up because it is short, and it's 4 wide of mid-on. 2 short balls in succession from Devendra Bishu. Gets punished for the second one.
He's into his almost finishing his 7th over. You wouldn't particularly expect him to be tired, but maybe the cold is what is affecting him. Really not ideal conditions.
Six from the over, 37 gone. It's 96 for 3. Oh, well, got to keep warm somehow. I think that's a good idea. Have to have a look at that. No, I think it's pitched outside. He's even asking what I think is an umpire. No. Not sure who it is. It's good to keep warm doing anything in this awfully cold day. It really isn't very pleasant. Now then, these are our lads from the Hawkeye team. They decided to do a little bit of whitewater rafting here in the Zambezi River. Oh, doesn't that look fantastic? In the old GoPro, you've got Dan, Ravi, James and Blair, our great whitewater rafting explorers. Here they go. I'm not sure if it disoriented them a little bit. What do you think of the Hawkeye today? It's been accurate. I think it's been okay, isn't it?
I haven't used too much of it so far today.
Well, let's see. No, this is it. Wonderful. Whitewater. Oh, Dan, supposed to stay in it. Well done, lads. Excellent. And I hear that James went to bungee jumping, and one other one. Oh, did Dan, I think, yeah. Have you done a bungee jump? Have you ever? You have, haven't you?
No, I haven't, actually. I thought about this on this trip.
I thought about it, and I thought, I will never do a bungee jump.
I think the next time I go there, I'll definitely do that. I wasn't there for as long as you were, obviously. It was just the one night for me, so very limited what I could do, but definitely when I go back, I think it's something that I want to try.
Definitely do a zip line. I do that. I do the old line, but that one, no. No. this has been a tremendous fight back by Mazzucato and PJ Moore. PJ Moore's playing only his 5th test match. Very confidently he comes forward, and he's just been getting forward in a well to Jason Holder. Holder knows that he likes to come forward onto that front foot. He's dropped a couple of short balls in, but it hasn't deterred PJ Moore from coming forward to meet the ball on full length.
He's a very gritty player. You must give him that. And I remember he came to my room and we sat down and had a chat before his first test. And that was against New Zealand last year. But he came out there and, as you say, confidently played his way to a good 70, 72, I think he got in the end. But first test match innings and he looked like he was at home. Always wants to do well and relishes every opportunity he gets to play. Doesn't like being left out. But yeah, he's got a bright future, and if he can carry on like he started, his average is just short of 34. And do bear in mind that he's still very early in his career, but it's been a very promising start to a test career.
One from the over. It's 97 for 3. Yeah, everyone's wrapped up on this very cold day in Bulawayo today. Yeah, do anything you like on a day like this to keep warm. I don't know why they would be sitting there, because it's an open stand. There's one missing. There were 3 there. It's going to be cold there, surely. Open stand, the wind going through there. I'd be inclined to get a bit down there, just in a more sheltered position. Even the gloves are out now, look. Who's got the gloves on there, Tino? Tendai Chisoro, the debutant. Keep those hands warm. Left arm spin bowler.
Reminds me of Dunedin, this kind of weather. Extremely cold, often overcast. And, not the conditions I want to be playing cricket in.
I'm told, as Shannon Gabriel comes back, 8 overs, 3 maidens, 1 for 18, that, and I've not been to Invercargill, but that is the coldest place. Dunedin I have been, and I absolutely loved it. Had the privilege of watching Afghanistan win their first ODI in the World Cup against Scotland there. That was, oh hello, Shannon Gabriel's done something here. Shannon Gabriel's pulled up very sharply after bowling that first delivery. I heard earlier today how injury prone he is. That doesn't look very good.
Doesn't look good at all. I'm trying to figure out if that's an ankle or the hamstring. I know he's had some troubles with the hamstring. He was okay until there. And it looks like it's the left leg. And a fair bit of discomfort there. But it looks like all is well, and he'll continue.
Fielded.
No grimace there, so I think all is well.
And that's Craig Brathwaite fielding in that extra cover position. Bowlers really should congratulate people because he's just saved 2 or 3 runs there, Brathwaite. And it's ball is stinging those hands. Look at that. Those fingers are all bandaged up. Holder now is just reinforcing that offside. So we've only got 3 on the leg side. Wide open spaces on the leg side. Only a mid-on. There you go. You got a mid-on there, just on the square, and you've got a deep backward square, or he's just in front of square, and under the pavilion there, the mid-on, the fine leg. So 6-3 field, 6 on the offside, gully with 1 slip, and a ring saving the single on that offside. No third man. One is the call, early call.
It's a good call. He's hit it just to the right of the fielder, but Jermaine Blackwood, but he's called yes straight away. Good pick up and throw. But, I think Hamilton Masakadza would have been home safely. Slight acceleration in the rate by this man, Hamilton Masakadza, and a man back on the boundary to him at sweeper. You saw the highlights package a bit earlier. He scored heavily through that offside area, and they're just making sure that if he's given that width, there's somebody out there to cut off that boundary.
Very nicely played by Hamilton Masakadza, and he'll get 4 for this. And that brings up the 100 for Zimbabwe, from 14 for 3 to 102 for 3. We're in the 39th over.
He's starting to look good. Hamilton Masakadza. I remember one of my coaches used to say to me, SAD in terms of your innings. And survive, accumulate and dominate is what those stand for. He certainly survived, and he's starting to accumulate, Hamilton Masakadza. That scoring rate's gone up over the last few overs.
It's 102 for 3. I should imagine that dressing room with Heath Streak as the coach is a more relaxed place to watch cricket from now than it was a couple of hours ago at 14 for 3. Bottom right there with the beard, that's Lance Klusner. He's the batting coach for Zimbabwe, and the ball needs a trim. And I think we're going to have an official drinks break right here. The umpire Simon Fry has just called on. Yes, it is. 39 overs gone. Drinks break here. 102 for 3.
Meaning of standing up. You are the stepping stone, the one with the flame of inspiration, the one with the passion, the one who has what it takes to move Zimbabwe forward. It's time to stand up and do what is right. It's time to rise and do your part. It's beyond a privilege. It's an inheritance, a pledge that everyone has to make. So rise, Zimbabwe. Simuka, Zimbabwe. Pakama, Zimbabwe. It's time to pledge, register, and go vote. What does it mean to be Zimbabwean? To be Zimbabwean is to carry the mark of leadership And leadership begins when you embrace your purpose and take responsibility. These times we're living in are evidence that each one of us was born in this generation for a great purpose. A purpose to shape Zimbabwe's future, a responsibility to carry the promise and live in the Zimbabwe we want. Zimbabwe is waiting for a generation of people who understand the meaning of standing up. You are the stepping stone, the one with the flame of inspiration, the one with the passion, the one who has what it takes to move Zimbabwe forward. It's time to stand up and do what is right. It's time to rise and do your part. It's beyond a privilege. It's an inheritance, a pledge that everyone has to make. So rise, Zimbabwe. Simuka, Zimbabwe. Pakama, Zimbabwe. It's time to pledge, register, and go vote.
In social media streaming and in-house TV productions. This livecast has been powered by ZimdiTv News, a division of Sly Media Productions, specialists in social media streaming and in-house TV productions.
A nice cup of coffee in bitterly cold conditions takes us back to the old Victorian era. No success for the West Indies in the hour after lunch. Zimbabwe in early trouble this morning after they chose to bat.
Well, this is when Zimbabwe had their backs against the wall. Mire, he went for 4. Excellent bowling by Kemar Roach. It just draws him into the shot, angled into him, but you'd expect probably getting that foot outside the line of off stump would probably have saved him a little bit. But that was some excellent bowling, and this was even better. Came round the wicket straight away. It looked as if West Indies had a plan to. Craig Irvin coming round the wicket and attacking the stumps. Well, I left nothing left of middle stump after that. Kemar Roach wasn't done. He got an important wicket for the West Indies. Again, that was Brendan Taylor a little bit late on this. I mean, perhaps trying to play it in 2 minds, and he went on to play the ball onto his stumps. But this man, he's been excellent. Hamilton Masakaza, 67 over 113 deliveries. Still there because of a no ball.
Yes, Ed, well, it's nothing new as far as Shannon Gabriel. So again before lunch, into the pull shot, got the under edge onto the body. Good diving catch by Shea Hope from Gully. He said not out early on, but actually Masakaza had started walking and then was told to stand his ground, because not for the first time Shannon Gabriel denied a test wicket because of his own error. No one else's. Overstepping the front crease.
Spare thought for these gentlemen. They have had a lot of hard work. Some of the curators here that have prepared this ground for test cricket as best they can. It's been ever changing. The conditions, the overhead conditions, a bit of rain. It cannot illustrate how cold it is here, but it is very, very cold.
Head curator Fungai Shanganya. And it's often overlooked the work that they have to put in to ensure that the ground, the pitch, the conditions are ready and playable before handing over to the umpires. Maybe a lot of the criticism towards them is sometimes misplaced, because they're often condemned for the flat, lifeless tracks. That assumes that they are preparing the surfaces without any sort of guidance or advice or points that are made to them either by the captains, the home captains, or the authorities, because there is something called home advantage that is often used to greater and lesser degrees by different nations.
Tucks him up a little bit. I like what you've just brought up, Fizia. Very much.
Suspected you would.
What do the West Indies do in terms of having some home ground advantage?
Well, clearly we are returning to our original name, because the West Indies is a misnomer. When Christopher Columbus sailed there in that part of the world 500 years ago, Well, you asked the question, and I usually have a very long run-up. He thought he had arrived in India. So that's why it got the name the Indies. And then they realized, hang on, this isn't India. So then it became the West Indies. So now we're returning to our Indian roots by preparing bland, flat pitches for Test cricket. But in all seriousness, I think that is a question that many people have been asking themselves. Why are the pitches in the Caribbean so slow and low? And just to dispel another of the myths, they were never all fast and bouncy and even paced. It was never really like that. That was always the story told about the pitches being fast bowlers' paradises. They were outstanding fast bowlers, great fast bowlers who took whatever advantage they could from the conditions. But I think it's gone to the other extreme now, where almost every bit of life is taken out of the surfaces. And I've taken away your opportunity to comment, at least for just one more delivery.
Very well done, I must say. That long run. So you would say that the flatter, more docile surfaces are the ones that generate the better bowlers, the better, faster bowlers, whereas the West Indies, and we were speaking a little while ago, between the 70s and the 80s, man, who would want to face them? I mean, who would want to face Ian Bishop at his prime? Now imagine you had some green flyers in the Caribbean.
I wouldn't want to face Ian Bishop now, and he's pretty docile. 104 for 3. He's batted well, Peter Moore. Masakadza on 68. But the important thing for them is to carry on. The partnership is 90, but they should be out there not even thinking, how many have we got, how many more do we need to get? They need to be thinking to be together at the close of play, essentially.
Huge partnership for Zimbabwe. This 90, it just needs to kick on. They don't even need to worry about the balls. They don't need to worry about the runs because of the damage that initially started their innings. 4, 7 and 3.
That's Raymond Reefer heading out there towards the backward square leg, substitute fielder. A bit of a scare with Shannon Gabriel when he appeared to pull up during the course of his last over.
And we can throw this question back and forth. What would be the best suited conditions for the West Indies? They're definitely on a path where they're regrouping. They're definitely on a path where they're assembling different components to their side. Because you go to India, you'll understand that the wicket's going to turn straight away. You go to England, and it happened in the Ashes where Australia went to Nottingham and you couldn't tell the difference between the pitch and the outfield. So for the West Indies, what will suit their game and elevate it and make it a difficult place to tour?
Another boundary with a straight drive. Masakadza continuing to look impressive with his 8th 4.
Yeah, his boundary hitting ability today has been good. And what has really been good for Hamilton Masakadza has been able to hit the ball down the ground just like this. And that'll show good balance at the crease. It's also a good swing of the bat, so the power going through the shot, the hitting zone, allows the ball to run away. Doesn't get all of it.
Yes. Very good cricket. When you've gotten the boundary, the fielders are on their heels, almost as a reflex action, and he's picked up the single very quickly.
So I'm talking about the balance, the head, and where the hands then make contact with the ball. I'll tell you that he's in good place as a batsman on now 73. And if you're trying to stay ahead of the game, most of the West Indian fielders right now will be looking at that and thinking, this is ominous. We need to be able to get him out to try and get a new man in.
Yeah, on the question of those pitches, certainly the West Indies have shown, by virtue of their results over the last 12 months, victory in Sharjah, victory in Barbados, battling hard in Dominica, victory at Leeds, that they are growing as a team. They're not perfect by any means. There are question marks over a couple of players. There are players back at home at the start of the new regional season who will be looking to score runs, take wickets, put pressure on the incumbents. But I think the best way West Indies cricket will continue to develop is to get proper cricket pitches. Not bowling surfaces, not batting surfaces. But pitches that give you a bit of everything. If you're a good fast bowler, you'll get something from it. If you're a spinner, you'll get more involved. Confirmation, West Indies, after the loss at home to India, 2-0. They've lost consecutive series, yes, they've lost, no question about it. But they've won, and they've actually won, in the case of the last two, Pakistan and England, in live series. They won the second test in both those cases. So I think they are showing, especially that win at Leeds, in fast bowlers, seamer type conditions, that they are increasingly more competitive in challenging environments.
No run, no run.
110 for 3. And it's a discussion that continues to be held, not just in the West Indies, right here in Zimbabwe, in many parts of the world, about the pitches, the nature of the pitches, and what sort of conditions do you prepare. And there you see what we just spoke about in the last 7 years.
Bounce back Kings. First test match, the win percentage is 24%, but in the second test match they seem to bounce back really well. Third and fourth, they seem to be, well, the fourth one, just the one there where they draw. Third one, they totally get outplayed. Is that a mental thing?
Well, that fourth test that ended in a draw was played for just one session. That was the fiasco of the Queen's Park Oval in Trinidad in August of last year, where a light shower at lunchtime ended any prospect of play because of a soggy outfield. But certainly the West Indies find themselves in a situation where, not as desperate as Zimbabwe, because Zimbabwe haven't played a lot of international cricket over the last 7, 8, 9 years. Good work by Kimar Roach, and they'll come back for 2.
So perhaps it's an opportunity for Zimbabwe as they also rebuild. Get conditions that suit them and their game. And I think one team that stands ahead of a lot of teams in the world in terms of dominating at home in the recent past is Bangladesh. It's such a difficult place to go there and win, because they understand their conditions so well and they make it so uncomfortable for you.
Well, what is the point being a rampaging pit bull in your own backyard and a toothless poodle everywhere else?
You know, that long run has just gone out the stadium. Steady, yeah? Come on now. It's cuddle weather.
Well, I'm getting cozy into the discussion, because I think, and this is really where the measure of an outstanding cricket team comes into the discussion. At least they're comfortable there, bundled up together. A bit of hostility from the captain. But I think one of the qualities you admire in an outstanding sporting team is the ability to not just compete but dominate in alien conditions. And many people, as we talk about great eras and so on, I often reference the West Indies era, not just because I'm a West Indian, but there's no other era to compare with it. People often talk about winning in the subcontinent and so on or whatever. The West Indies of that era, even on the flattest of flat pitches, would win on the subcontinent and would win handsomely. 3-0, they would win a test series. So even if it was frustrating for their fast bowlers, they were able to still produce the results. And I think that's what is the measure of any great team, that you're able to succeed not just at home, but probably more importantly, away from home.
So does 4-day test cricket maybe even it out for everybody? Away and being at home?
If everyone was playing it.
No!
Partnership now approaching 100, 2 away from that, and I think if they're in the change room right now, Zimbabwe coach and the men that have gone would be thinking, if I stuck around for another 10 deliveries, it seems to be a very good surface to bat on and give myself the best possible opportunity to get some runs.
Will keep the strike, Peter Moore. He's played well in support of Hamilton Masakadza. 113 for 3. Masakadza 27 runs away from a test 100. A couple of more substitutes on the field for the West Indies. Raymond Rifa and Shimron Hetmyer coming on. Everyone bundled up everywhere.
These are the only two players, well, player and coach, that are outside of the change room. Everybody's inside.
Have they lost a bet or something?
Oh, they just like cold weather.
Yeah.
There's the 100 partnership. One milestone, an excellent effort by this pair. When did they came together at 14 for 3? There was a feeling that a carnage was on the way. West Indies were going to mow through the Zimbabweans, but they played well.
Really good application. And to put your mind in a situation where you have to block everything out and try and avert to what could have been a very difficult situation for Zimbabwe, has turned around into some positivity in a partnership of 100. But I'll come back to it, and it's just the beginning. It's the first day. We haven't got to tea yet. You've got to be thinking end of day. Imagine they're probably 250 for 3. How much would that mean to Zimbabwe and that recovery?
Absolutely, and the evidence of the first innings, first test match bears that out. They were 91 for 1 to be all out for 159. So they've got to be telling themselves that I'm going to get the runs. I'm not going to rely on anyone else. I can't rely on anyone else. That I'll be there until the last drink is drunk.
Do you think she's making any sales today? I don't see any teapots or any coffee hanging about there. More work being done to the ball. Kookaburra ball. It's another huge talking point in Test match cricket in terms of how much can it stay together. And there's been a lot of work. The ball's even been changed, and there we go. Get the scissors out, give it a bit of a trim. Once it gets really soft, this ball it does nothing. It becomes so batter friendly. It's another aspect of the game that probably needs to change or move forward.
Ian Bishop was talking at length about it with his own experience as an outstanding fast bowler himself with the Kookaburra and its almost non-existent seam, and the Dukes and the Readers with the more pronounced seam.
There's the SG as well. Just the same indication that that seam gets so soft, and you get situations like this where there isn't a great deal of seam movement or bounce, and you find that the SG ball, the Readers and the Duke, hold together a lot better, and it also makes it an even playing field between bat and ball, I believe, because I think if you're a better player, you'll be able to deal with the ball that moves around a little bit more.
There are so many variables to this game which makes it so fascinating but also so infuriating, in the sense that so much depends on where you play, what ball you use, who's got what technology that is available or not available, who's using which rule, to which team is not using whichever rule. So it's both a plus and a minus. Whose players are available and who are not available, who wants to play T20, who wants to play Test cricket. So many variables.
How long you can keep the shine on the ball, how long it can stay harder in terms of getting value for your shot, and a bouncer. Haven't seen that in a while. It's 115 for 3. And so all these bowlers be thinking, oh, we need maybe a Duke ball, but they were really good, the first two, Gabriel and Roach, 1 and 2 apiece. And then since then, it's been really quiet.
Five bowlers used, including Jermaine Blackwood, who hasn't had a ball in Test cricket for quite a while. And now we're going to see Roston Chase bowling his off spin. Got 95 with the bat in the second innings of the first Test match last week at this very ground. Was expected to play a really big part in the fourth innings of the match. And he has some decent numbers as an all-round cricketer after 14 Test matches. We were talking about him possibly getting a 4th Test 100 by his 14th Test. Didn't happen. And now he's looking to add to his wickets tally and to break this partnership.
Something totally different. We've seen the leg spin, we've seen some seamers have an opportunity, now some off spin. Is there a change of approach by these two? They've been so good up to this point. And turn straight away. This was my thought straight away in terms of, okay, we've got out of trouble. Now there's a change. How do we approach this? The bowling card, we had a little look at it. Blackwood bowled his first over in the 13th over. Do you not think perhaps Gabriel and Roach would have wanted 2 or 3 more overs? because at the time they were making life so uncomfortable for Zimbabwe. Was that maybe a captaincy error?
I think that has to do with the fitness level of both players. Good stroke, nice flourish, and 4 more.
Okay, Hamilton, you've shown us today how to hit some boundaries. Really, really good. His 9th boundary, it's full, it's a long half body. He opens up the offside because he stays leg side of the ball and he penetrates that gap with power and precision.
Catch it!
Not afraid to go over the top either. Now on to 79.
Have a look at this. We've spoken about the balance, but just at the top, he just opens the face of the bat to hit the gap.
Catch it!
An innocuous shot there by PJ Moore to end another over. It's 120 for 3.
Credit to PJ Moore, because he would have come in and recognized that his role is the sheet anchor. It's not about, hi everybody, it's not about getting preoccupied to matching Hamilton shot for shot, because there are different types of players. It's about recognizing that I'm here to support, keep one end going while he's playing from the other end. So very important.
Brilliant. I know you were good. I didn't know you were that good. That's an excellent point. Because to be able to show restraint, and would we think that PJ Moore would have come in at that stage, or was it Sakinder Razabat? So his application and your point, fantastic.
Just remember, Ed, when I gave you that $50 US, it was to butter me up a little more, please.
No, it is all about how you support Liverpool. I said it to you on the way here, you will never be loved any better than me.
We're talking about Peter Moore and the fact that he's taking advantage of this opportunity courtesy of the illness to Sean Williams. He's usually batted at number 7 for Zimbabwe. Now he's come in at 5 and really making the most of it.
Yeah, good. And wouldn't want to talk him up anymore. Don't want to put the mockers on him. He's on 34 for 110. And he's generally an attacking player. He loves to feel bat on ball. And he's striking at 30.9. So, and 160 minutes, so great restraint. The men to come. This is a perfect example. This partnership and how these men have gone about their work. And now for the West Indies, they had it pretty easy for those first 3 wickets. Now a partnership has been built. Now what sort of options do you have? We've just seen a bit of a change in tactic, the off spin of Chase coming into play.
Batting coach Toby Radford there together with the bowling coach. Maybe he's suggesting Craig Brathwaite, the partnership breaker from the last day of the first test. And questions about his bowling action on the England tour that have been resolved and sorted out. 6 for 29 in Colombo. But as I was saying, I don't think there's any reason for Jason Holder to be worrying at this situation. Yes, he'd want to get a breakthrough. Yes, you'd want to get the opposition out as quickly as possible. But this is Test cricket. And you've got to expect that there will be resistance. 121 for 3 could be 185 all out.
Yeah, I totally agree with you there. But my point, and perhaps my thought would be, when you're building a certain culture, and especially when we spoke about building elements in a team, those difficult times are the times where you need to think outside the box and create something from nothing. In a partnership like this could be a 200-run partnership, and the West Indies will have a lot of cricket, so will Zimbabwe. But it's about those periods which make the biggest difference. How do we create breakthroughs? Change of utensils.
Gabriel not too pleased that he's been kept waiting in the midst of his 12th over. Sliding off the face nicely. Usually a spot occupied by Julian Blackwood, and it's Shimron Hetmaya doing the business, the substitute fielder.
Got to also give West Indies a shout out here in terms of Blackwood. How many runs has he saved in the field today? And that's saved a definite 4. So they haven't picked up a wicket since 3 for 14, but they've also been really good in the field in terms of stopping those boundaries and those odd singles that get the batsman into the game.
Solid as a rock. 121 for 3.
Zimbabwe have restored faith through this wonderful partnership, now worth 107 between Hamilton Mazakadze and Peter Moore. 14 for 3 after an hour's play this morning, when Zimbabwe's captain won the toss, Graham Creamer, batting first on a bitterly cold day. It really is. Considering how hot it was during the first test, how hot and dry the conditions we had, and the weather system has arrived over this part of Zimbabwe. In fact, driving down from Vic Falls yesterday, it rained torrentially, virtually all the way, 5.5 hours of rain. Now he's caught hold of this. That's a magnificent blow from Hamilton Mazakadze. Big 6.
What an awesome shot that was from Hamilton. Talk about restoration of faith. He certainly believes in himself. He's done a lot of hard work, but that in particular, remarkable, brilliant shot, straight out the middle.
That's a milestone for Mazakadze. It's 2,000 test runs now to the Zimbabwe opener. He was a schoolboy when he made his debut back in 2001, still at school. No bowler likes to be clattered for a 6, but that really was an imperious blow. Three men back now on the onside fence for Mazakadze. There's a deep mid-wicket, long on, and a deep backward square. Yeah, there's your long on. On the right of your picture, mid-wicket, deep mid-wicket on the fence, and deep backward square. 2 saving the 1 and a short leg. End of the over with 6 from it. 127 for 3.
Yeah, it's always good to see your fellow mates doing well, and Hamilton becoming the 5th Zimbabwean to get to 2,000 runs, test runs. It was a shot of a catch. Didn't look like he was close to that. I like what you said about faith, restoration.
That's a wonderful milestone for Hamilton Mazakadze. He's just gone above Heath Streak. Still ahead of him, the run scorers for Zimbabwe: Guy Whittle, Alistair Campbell, Grant Flower and Andy Flower. And look at Andy Flower's career average, 51. That puts him in the high echelons of the game. Shannon Gabriel. Oh, how delicately played is this? There is no third man. And really beautifully played by PJ Moore. Gets them to their feet in the stands.
Exciting shot that was. Obviously you can see the confidence oozing out of him. Beautiful shot, playing the ramp shot. Watching it all the way, and why not? There's no protection out there, and the ploy has been to dig it in back of a length at him. He knows what's coming and played it to perfection.
Well, it's well worked out as well, isn't it? Formulated by PJ Moore. He would have surveyed the field and taken into account that there was no third man, hence the ramp shot. Shannon Gabriel wouldn't have enjoyed seeing that. The batsman taking liberties with his fast bowling. Will he give him another short one? Still no third man, doing without that. Well, I'd say restoring the faith here, we see, is that at 14 for 3, you've got, you've been beaten in the first test match, and within an hour of the second, you really you have got your backs to the wall, and there would have been a quiet dressing room. And what this has done now, this partnership of 117, it would have restored so much faith in that Zimbabwe changing room. Jason Holder there, he's off the field. He's been going on and off the field, and as he did in the first test, he's got a troublesome right arm, right shoulder, right elbow.
I mean, I'll tell you what's interesting, the ploy that the West Indies bowlers to PJ Moore, this is pretty interesting. Yes, 53% of those balls on a good length. But look at that. I think it's too much, 24% on this sort of surface that is not as quick, that is not suitable for the seamers. Generally would love to see a lot more percentages on the full and the good length to PJ.
Nicely done. That's a nice single. Couple of changes for Zimbabwe. Peter Moore coming into the side. Sean Williams is out. He reported ill this morning. And Kyle Jarvis also out for Zimbabwe with an ankle injury. Zimbabwe then. Mire's second test. PJ Moore playing his 5th, and it's a first test for Tendai Chisoro, formerly a left-arm quick, and now he's a left-arm spin bowler who gets his test call-up at the age of 29.
I'll tell you what's interesting, though. Just looking at PJ Moore's determination at the moment, getting the opportunity. Yes, Sean Williams unfortunately is unwell, but just to see the determination, the concentration level that he's at the moment. It's really good to see, knowing that this is possibly the only chance he may get in a while. Who knows what could happen from here? He knows he walked into Batwin at a difficult time, and it's good to see him building it up.
Oh, that's a nasty ball, but well negotiated by Mazakadze. End of the over, 132 for 3. He's played this well.
Very well. Talk about, for those kids that are watching at home, good delivery. Ball getting big on you, drop your hands, making sure you're coming out the way beautifully. I like the dropping their hands. More often than not, you see batters still looking to play. Yes, look to play, but look to come out the way the very last second.
Jason Holder's coming back on the field, and it looks as if Shannon Gabriel might be walking off. So might have had some running repairs there. Shannon Gabriel is off, and he's bowled 13 overs, 3 maidens, 1 for 37. At 14 for 3, the West Indies bowlers, the Windies bowlers, must have thought they might have been having a short day in the field today. And that's why this fight back has been so tenacious and so admirable. Roston Chase, a little surprised that again he's been the last consideration for Jason Holder. He's tall and he got some bounce, and his off spin, he does ask quite a few questions. This is only his 3rd over.
PJ Moore reaching out for that one. Talk about playing the ball late, but have a look at that gap in between bat and pad. It's too big a gap.
This is what Chase is able to achieve. He's tall, he's a very tall man, and then he gets that extra bounce. If he starts ripping it on this service, you've got 2 factors to negotiate: spin and bounce.
Yeah, because he's so tall, he's going to get that much bounce, and that's what saved PJ Moore. Again, you can see him playing with hard hands, and Roston Chase being a tall guy, there's a bounce that I'm talking about. Too high to start with. Yes, also missing. Leg stump, just shy. Ideally, you're facing a tall off spinner. You got a guy catching short square. Playing with soft hands is the key.
Well, he went for the sweep and he didn't really get hold of it. And just the single.
Yeah, it's not surprising. They like playing the sweep, but that bounce that we're talking about, not so much of a good idea facing him and knowing that he's going to extract quite a bit of bounce off the surface, and also he's tall.
Now, has he got an edge to this? Windies are celebrating, and Kumadama, his finger is up. And Hamilton Mazakadze comes down the pitch. I don't think he's fully convinced that he hit it. And they're going to appeal. They're going to review this on DRS. And judging by what Peter Moore is saying, he's not sure either. It's crucial this now. Shea Hope takes the catch. That is a legal delivery, only just. Front foot is fine there. It's landed. There's enough of the foot behind that line, so that's legal. Now then, has he hit this? Now, has a glove got onto that? Third umpire is Paul Rifle.
Yeah, we'll have to have a look at it from a different angle. Yeah, I think if he wasn't sure, this should tell us. Pad. And onto his forearm.
Ooh, I think third umpire's got to make a call here. From the first sighting of this, now the big spike there, that's with the ball hitting the pads, still on the pad. I can't see that on the glove. That doesn't look as if he's hit that at all. It doesn't look as if he's got a glove on it or a forearm, which is why Hamilton Masakata went down the pitch and said, I'm going to review this.
Yeah, now they're going to have to check for the LBW. It looks like it. And it's quite clear that, yes, the original decision was out. And umpire Kumadama Sena has to reverse his decision. Another life for Masakata.
It's 1-3. Hamilton Masakata makes a very good review and survives the appeal against Roston Chase for a caught at short leg. And Holder looks to bring Bishu back into the attack. 7 overs, none for 24. The Windies were at one stage, they're probably looking at this as being a very short day for them. They were 14 for 3 Zimbabwe, with the 3 top guns, Mire, Taylor and Irvin all back. 14 for 3 since then. PJ Moore here with 40. Hamilton Masakata with 86. They put on 119. Now Bishu back into the attack.
Good start straight away from Bishu. Peter Joseph has done exceptionally well to this point. Don't want to put any mockers on him. It's really good to see. And I said earlier with Peter Joseph, he likes getting things going whenever he gets to face spinners. But he's showed some serious character up until this point. Great ball again.
As a bowler, you must wonder how on earth you get nothing for that. It's perhaps turned too sharply. Peter Moore would have done well to get a bat on that.
It's always exciting to see when the ball is spinning past the bat like that. And as a batsman, I wouldn't be too phased by this. Played the line of the ball, which is really good. Not following it, spun quite sharp. You look back and you think, oh well, there's not a lot I can do with that. Let's carry on.
Nanji.
That's a maiden. It's 1-3-3 for 3. Negotiated by Peter Moore, the maiden from Bishu.
It's always good to see the crowd turning up. It is a sign it's a non-working day around.
Well, I wonder how much he's enjoying a day out. Freezing to death watching cricket on a Sunday. Roston Chase just pushed leg side by Mazakadze.
This certainly a good test here for PJ. I say he's well known for how he likes to dominate spinners. But on this particular innings, I'm seeing the other side of Peter Joseph, showing a bit of character, not looking to dominate as much as he normally does, first class and in other formats as well.
Well, this is what Heath Street would have wanted, would have requested from his top order. Occupy the crease, stay out there. Don't worry about the runs, they'll come. It's a 5-day test match. Just occupy the crease.
Catch it.
Yep, it's a 5-day test match. And lots of time in. Possibly the same cliches. Break it down session by session, over by over.
Single off the last ball of the 50th over, 136 for 3. Mazakadze with 9 boundaries and 2 sixes in this fine innings he's playing of 88. Dancing might be the best way to keep warm. Yes, it's a day to keep warm. Wrap up. Look, the bobble hats are on, the beanies, the big coats, towels, blankets, gloves. You sure we're in Zimbabwe?
This is what you get in this part of Africa. It's generally good. I don't know what happened today. You can't really control the mother nature, but it is cold, I must say. Very cold.
Bishu now, his 9th over.
Shot 2 is a call. Yeah, little comeback. Quite comfortable as well. I'll tell you what's interesting, just looking at all the tactics, all the ploys that have been used, as well as the batters, the way they've gone on about their business in this innings. First test match, good shot again. During the first test match, we saw a lot of batters coming in looking to play the reverse sweep, sweeping hard, because the wicket was spinning quite a bit. In this particular innings, I'm not quite sure if I've seen one sweep as yet. Maybe apart from the slug sweep from Hamilton, that's one. Has there been another? Maybe. And it just clearly tells you that yes, it might be a spinning wicket, but if you play normal, give yourself a chance. There are a lot of runs, and Peter Joseph certainly showing it, and he is proving it. Hamilton sitting on 91, don't want to put any markers in him, but there hasn't been any horizontal shots apart from waiting for the bad ball.
Yeah, that's a good call, because in that first test, Zimbabwe's some of the top order played some shots they probably would have regretted.
Yeah, absolutely, and I'm not saying that those are bad, well, they turned out to be bad options. And I guarantee you'll see that Zimbabwean batters will carry on playing the sweep shot because they played well. But it's also good to see them coming out with a different plan. End of the over, 139 for 3. And this was the first test. This is how it all happened. We were 91-1, Zimbabwe were, and then ended up losing that for that much runs, and they ended up losing the game by 117 runs.
Yeah, that was the problem for Zimbabwe in that first innings in the first test, from being 91-1. Miriam Mazakata putting on good runs. It's occupying the crease, and they capitulated to 159 all out.
Yeah, occupying the crease as well. Still do not change the game. Hamilton, you can see, going hard at it. Ball spun into him. It's expected to spin. Going with hard hands like that, you don't want to be playing shots that you will regret. He's done a lot of hard work up until this point. Perhaps Never's 90s. You can see pushing mid-off out again because of that particular shot.
Mazakatsa having to concentrate here on every single ball from Roston Chase. And his commentary box, a few comments earlier on that surprised that Chase hadn't been brought into the attack earlier, because with his extra height, he gets that bounce. It's causing that with the turn, is causing problems here. It's causing both these batsmen to be more watchful than they would perhaps be against another bowler. That's what he gets, you see. He gets that. And Hamilton, Mazakatsa coming forward, and Ross and Chase getting extra bounce and purchase.
Yeah, with quite a big bounce. He gloved it this time around, but if you do remember how he got out first innings, going hard at it, and exactly the same thing again, going hard at the ball. Just a single. It's good to see Hamilton. What's interesting is how he's gone on about it. He's scoring at a decent strike rate. He's only faced 150 balls. And it just tells you that they haven't actually, they've been trying to attack him, and he's managed to score pretty well. Yes, he started off fairly slow, worked hard, built it up.
One from that over, 140 for 3.
It's very cold. You got to keep moving to keep yourself warm. It has been strange.
Just a horrible day. I think it's cooler now than when we turned up this morning. Vendor Bishu.
Exciting times. It is a non-working day.
Oh, lovely shoot, lovely shoot.
And you can see the excitement, people dancing out there. Don't worry about the grumpy conditions that we are facing that are upon us. It is overcast. Shot. Keep the scoreboard ticking. That's really good to see.
Keep going, shoot. Keep working, best.
Two's the call. Mazakatsa would be running towards the danger end because it's the shorter of the two. But 2 comfortable runs. picked this up nicely. It's gone up a long way. Roston Chase would have been looking at that for a long time. It wasn't connected with properly here.
Yeah, PJ Moore not quite sure if there was any need to play across the line. He's been doing well. Basically, you talk about playing on merit. This is 2 balls before try to go for the big heave over mid-wicket.
It beats slip for 2. That extra spin from Bishu causing problems. 147 for 3.
So that takes us to T, and Hamilton Masakaza has done a lot of hard work and sitting on 93 at the moment. And in this session, only 28 overs, got no wickets. It's been a good session for the Zimbabwean batters with 91 runs at a decent run rate as well of 3.25.
Wonderful innings this by Hamilton Masakata, 93 from 152 balls. That's a good rate considering the carnage at the other end. Mire, Irvin and Taylor all going cheaply, 14 for 3. Peter Moore has played an exemplary knock here, 47. It's 147 for 3 from 53 overs. Let's take a couple of highlights of this afternoon session. I think what they've done, they've not just consolidated, it's like 8th Test 50 for Hamilton Masakata. They've begun to look more confident against all the bowling here. Lucy?
Despite the wicket playing its part as well, assisting the spinners, this not so much for the seamers. What he's done well is put away all the bad balls. There's been a lot of drive balls and he managed to put them out very well, successfully as well. Roston Chase as well, some beautiful drives, regardless of the spin into him. And big heave for maximum. And PJ Moore, confidence oozing out of him as we've been talking about.
So this partnership has now put on 133 runs out of the 147. Gabriel 1 for 37, 2 for 30, 24 from Roach, and 6 bowlers have been used. Roston Chase has looked problematical with his height and his spin. 147 for 3. Will be back in about 15 minutes back here to the Queen Sports Club in Bulawayo.
Mean to be Zimbabwean. To be Zimbabwean is to carry the mark of leadership. And leadership begins when you embrace your purpose and take responsibility. These times we're living in are evidence that each one of us was born in this generation for a great purpose. A purpose to shape Zimbabwe's future, a responsibility to carry the promise and live in the Zimbabwe we want. Zimbabwe is waiting for a generation of people who understand the meaning of standing up. You are the stepping stone, the one with the flame of inspiration, the one with the passion, the one who has what it takes to move Zimbabwe forward. It's time to stand up and do what is right. It's time to rise and do your part. It's beyond a privilege. It's an inheritance, a pledge that everyone has to make. So rise, Zimbabwe. Simuka, Zimbabwe. Pakama, Zimbabwe. It's time to pledge, register, and go vote.
This livecast has been powered by ZimdiTv News, a division of Sly Media Productions, specialists in social media streaming and in-house TV productions. This livecast has been powered by ZimdiTv News, a division of Sly Media Productions, specialists in social media streaming and in-house TV productions.